No, but that's
right?
true.
Isn't
because
that true?
because you can't take care of anyone else if you don't take care of yourself, and that's the truth. You know, and as parents, we are role models, whether you want to believe that or not. So, you know,
I think people believe it. I just don't think they act on it. Do you know what I mean? Like we're just kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm good enough or whatever. You know, this is fine.
I think it's a comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a comfortable prison. You know what I mean? Like you have nice stuff, but you're locked into this like space that you don't really enjoy, even though it feels nice.
Right.
You know, and that's what it is. So I think the trick is.
Oh, so let's go back to that analogy, and I was going to say that, like, you know, the reason that they point that out to you is because that is not your instinct. Your instinct, if the cabin pressure drops, is to take care of your child first. And this is what happens with parenting in basically in a nutshell. It's like you put aside everything to take care of your child. Certainly in the beginning you do. I mean, you will go without showering, without sleep, without feeding yourself, all of those things because you're tending to your child and you're putting all their needs first. But what happens when you continue to neglect yourself? You start to really suffer. And then as you suffer, your child will, you know, inevitably there will be some repercussions that will affect you.
Yeah, there has to be. I mean, there has to be. There's no other way. Yeah, we're messing with this thing. Sorry, I keep looking at the screen, so.
It's okay. You can't notice. You mean the screen versus the lens?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really notice. I do that all the time too. That's real Robin Bird style.
I'm not in this, man.
Why not when you talk, you lean really close to the camera?
Well, no, because then you can get all up in my wrinkles and stuff. And
all up in your wrinkles?
I'm kidding. Okay, so. Yeah,
here I just referenced Robin Bird.
You did.
The pinnacle of public access.
Robin Bird. She was in Debbie Does Dallas.
What I aspired to. She was?
Yeah. She's the sex chick, right?
Yeah.
She was in Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah.
Like 8,000 years ago.
I'm sure it was a long time ago. But you remember her public access show in New York City.
I do. I only know her.
She had that like crocheted bikini, and she,
you know.
and she was always watching the monitor. She never looked into the lens. She's probably like just high as a kite.
See, that's the difference between men and women. Jane knows Robin Bird from the public access show, and I know her from Debbie Does Dallas, which is like the most famous porno of all time. So.
Well, women historically don't watch a lot of porn, but those numbers are actually going up because now you can.
Don't believe that.
Now you can buy porn in a more.
You don't even need to buy it. You can go on the internet.
Exactly,
and look at it.
You can do that. Yeah. No, there's a whole thing about that. I was just reading a story. I mean, this is so mainstream that this was on Oprah about how women view the porn industry and how they view porn in general for for their own consumption. Yeah. And that they're seeing like the numbers go up with that. Oprah interviewed Jenna Jameson.
Yeah, but she's so famous anyway. I mean, it's like.
Well, she asked her audience. She's like, "How many of you people here in my studio audience today have heard of Jenna Jameson?"
Yeah.
And about a third of them raised their hand.
Well,
I guess that's pretty high numbers, you know, for a porn star.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But she just had kids, so...
Okay,
so there you go.
So there, we were talking about parenting, and then we landed in porn. I mean, it's just, you know...
But she's parenting and porn together, because
that's even more dysfunctional, man. I mean, like...
wait,
I'm just joking. No, I didn't say that.
Well, let me clarify. She retired from porn, and now she has twins. She struggled for a really long time with fertility. She has twins now, and she looks like she's a great mom. But she got very teary when confronted with the question of like, what are you going to tell your sons about, you know, what you did with your life and how you made your money? I mean, she lives in this like unbelievable mansion and everything. And she started crying. And I think she was just like, I'm going to be honest. I have to tell them, you know, what happened. What worries me is the way other people perceive me and how, you know, my children might be ostracized as a result of, you know, some sort of narrow-minded person being like, oh, I don't want you playing at their house or something.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you know, that mansion, all that money, and like she wouldn't have what she had if it wasn't for that career. So, you know, it is. You got to just take it.
Well, you could argue that she's a smart businesswoman and she could have made her money in real estate. I mean, but that's not her thing. I mean, she made her money in a very particular way. And remember, she worked with her husband.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, for years. You sound like you know very clearly by
she made her money in a special way. Sorry, Jenna. You know, it's not an insult. You did.
Not at all. I mean, she worked with her husband almost exclusively, and then she also worked with women. So in her mind, it was like, I don't know. You know, it was. It's kind of like raising it to a different standard.
I guess so, but that's a whole different. We're talking about a whole different topic right now, right?
We so digressed, like all over the place, which just goes to show that, you know. Porn is
porn will keep you young if you watch it, especially when you have kids. Just don't watch it with your kids.
No, not a good idea at all. Although I heard from that sexologist I interviewed, somebody asked her, like, can you use porn as a tool to teach kids about sexuality? And she was so like not wanting to offend anybody.
She just said no.
She goes, well, you could. I'm not sure I would recommend doing that, but you certainly could depending on their age.
I don't know about that. You know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm against porn or for it, but as a parent, like the kids, I don't think so. That's a recipe for some serious dysfunction right there. At
any rate, nobody asked us that question. No. We're not delivering an answer about that. That's just... well,
I say no.
You say no, fine.
You know, you got to draw the line somewhere. Yeah. So, but anyway, so how do we get back into the topic of...
How did we get on Jenna Jameson? Yes.
How do we get on Jenna Jameson? I've been asking myself that question for years.
That was just bad.
Sorry.
Okay. No, we were talking about like this notion of I don't know, like you're coming back to your true self. Oh, there was a sense of like taking care of yourself first and how that impacts you and your children. And then there was the sense of like, you know, I feel like it goes in stages. Okay, so let's talk about like in the beginning period, like in the postpartum period, like the first year after you give birth, you really are super fixated on the needs of your child and not on your own needs. Yeah. And we see this all the time. You know, women are on maternity leave, let's say, and they just cannot get anything done. They forget about going to the gym. That's like on the end of the list. Well,
this is the beginning. The beginning is complete sacrifice, like no sleep. Right. You know what I mean? Like everything is kind of on hold. So I understand that, but I think people get trapped in that as they get older, though. Do you know what I mean? As the kid gets older, they're still stuck in
that habit. Of not
because that's very true. The first year you have a child, your life really is on hold. It really is. There's a lot of, you know, that baby is completely dependent upon
but let me just say this, and I can speak from my own experience being a very, very hands-on mom who was nursing a child that would not take a bottle, so I really had no choice but to be very like attached to my child. I felt like I couldn't do anything. If I even made it to a movie, I felt like that was an enormous accomplishment.
Yeah, you're right. I remember. I mean, I'm the dad, so I mean, not the dad of her kids, but you know, I'm a father. So, well, some people don't know who I am, or
I'll put a disclaimer.
This guy is not okay. So, but that's true. I mean, what you're saying is like going to a movie, maybe getting to a meal out is a huge. Like I remember when I would take Chloe out with Chloe's mother, my daughter's mom. We would like bring her to the cafe and be like, please don't let her wake up for 30 minutes so I can eat the sandwich. And it was just, man, it's rough, man.
Yeah. So talking about that, I'm trying to say that it's not just helpful, but it's almost essential that you build in the time for yourself, to feed yourself. I don't mean literally feed yourself as in food, although, you know, some people neglect to do that. But to feed yourself in that you need your downtime. Whatever it is, whether it's going to the gym or going out with a friend or whatever it is, building that into your week. You will be a better parent if you can give yourself that. That's your oxygen mask that's helping you take care of your child. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
That's true. You have to build it in, and you know,
and you can.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You think it's insurmountable, but you can and will find a way to do that. There are always people who are willing to take your child for like 2 hours. I mean, sometimes that's all you need.
And you know, another thing.
A week. I'm not even talking about a day.
And here's another thing, Jane.